Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Charlotte, and in today's video, I'll be sharing with you lots of underrated middle grade book recommendations. These books are ones that I rarely talk about or I've never talked about, and these are just some books that are not very popular. They need to be talked about if you're looking for some new recommendations and you don't want to hear Harry Potter, Percy Jackson, and Harry Potter over and over again, then you've come to the right place. These are middle grade books from many different genres that you probably haven't heard of, and I'm hoping that you will love just like I did. Without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started with the video. Okay, so I did decide to split this video into two sections. So one of them is going to be for like the average middle grade age, which is like 8 to 12, and then I am going to include some books towards the end. And then at the end of the video, I'm going to include some books that are for younger middle grade readers, probably readers that are younger than 8 years old that kind of just got into chapter books. So that's just basically what we're going to do for this video, and I'll put the timestamp up on the screen for the younger middle grade book recommendations in case that's why you're here. But if you are looking for book recommendations for ages 8 through 12, or if you're a teenager like me that still likes to read middle grade, that's just what we're going to be starting with first. My first recommendation is The Islanders by Marie Alice Monroe. This is probably the most popular book I'm talking about in this video, but when it was recommended to me, I hadn't heard of it. But this was a 5-star read for me, guys. I loved this book so much, but oh my goodness, this was such an amazing read. It was perfect. It had so many different subject matters in it. It dealt with so many different kinds of kids. There's great diversity in the cast of the 3 kids that we follow. So basically we follow Jake. He's our main character. Both of his parents are in the military, so he's sent to spend the summer on Dewey's Island with his grandmother, and little does he know that Dewey's Island is not a normal island. They don't have cars, they don't have stores, and they drive everywhere on golf carts and boats. Now this book gave the most immaculate summer vibes. It was so much fun. As Jake kind of settles into island life, he's learning all about nature, so there's so many great learning elements in this book as well that made me just really want to go outside and learn more about nature and all the animals that are around me. He meets Levy and Macon, who are his 2 new best friends that he spends the summer with. They go on lots of great adventures, they go through some tough times together, and get great advice from some great adult main characters that are really great role models. It is just such a sweet book that I enjoyed so much. Please add this to your TBR. No matter what your age is, you will enjoy this so much. If you're looking for the perfect summer read or just a really great wholesome middle grade book, you should definitely go check this one out. If you're a parent watching this, I would recommend this as a read aloud as well. As I was reading, I was like, this would be really fun to read to like a group of kids, or if you're a homeschooler that does read alouds like I do, you would probably love this book. Next up on the list, we have The Magic Half. This is one of my favorite middle grade books as well. This is also a 5-star read. This one you're following a girl who moves into a big old house from the 30s and suddenly finds herself being transported back in time to try to save the girl who lived in the same house but back in the 30s. It is such a great adventure. I love the time travel aspect. It was such a page turner. It was clean and magic is in the title, but I wouldn't say there was any specific magic used. The only thing that you might classify as magic was just the time travel, which isn't really magic. I will say there is talk of magic, like fairies and magic being real and all that, so if you don't want any magic at all, I probably wouldn't read this. But if you are okay with magic being mentioned and just a time travel based story, I would definitely recommend this one. It is so much fun. Such a great adventure, although it can be a little bit scary just because it does have like some historical fiction elements, and the family that the girl from the past lives with is very scary at times, and that's why she's trying to be saved. Sorry if that's a bit of a spoiler, but I did want to put that one out there. All of my content for this book and all the other books I'll mention will be listed out over on Goodreads and Fable, so any content that you might want to look up to see if it's something that you don't like reading about or that it might bother you, or if it's something you wouldn't consider clean or a wholesome read, it will all be listed out in those reviews. So hopefully that's helpful for you guys. But yeah, I really recommend this one, again, probably for an older middle grade reader, but it is so much fun. Next we have the In Grandma's Attic series. This is such a fun series that tells kind of like short stories in each chapter. This is like a faith-based series, I'm pretty sure. I don't think there's anything specific about Christianity in here, although it is just a really fun, sweet, wholesome read. I like to read a chapter of these before bed when I was younger, and it was just super fun and comforting, and the little stories of what the grandma's life was like is so much fun. And yeah, these are just really fun, great for a younger middle grade reader, and I just wanted to go ahead and let you guys know about these. I think there's a lot of them in the series. I only have 4 and I read 2, I think. But yeah, they're super fun. Make sure to go check these out. I think you'll have a great laugh and an enjoyable time reading these. Next we have From the Desk of Lizzie Lazowski. This was also a 5-star read for me, and this is written by a smaller author, so you might have not heard of it, but it was such a great read. It was really easy to read, and I thought it was just a really fun story. Even though it wasn't extremely like fast-paced in the sense of a fantasy book, I felt like I was able to stay engaged, and I actually did read this whole thing in one day. It was so much fun, and you're basically just following a girl named Lizzie as she has different challenges and goals she's striving towards. It does definitely follow the basic story outline, which I thought was really cool, and it was written very well, and I would definitely recommend going and checking this one out. It was just super fun, and I love Lizzie. She's such like a fun, quirky main character that I definitely related to at times and enjoyed reading about, and I definitely feel like there's some themes and elements and also just like hobbies in this book that aren't talked about as often, and I thought it was really cool to read about them, and I was nodding my head yes to so many things that were talked about in this book, so I really enjoyed it, and I think you should go and check it out. Next we have the Secrets of the Manor series. This was one of my favorite series growing up, and I recently reread some of them and love them even more. They are so much fun. They're kind of like a mystery, but not really like Nancy Drew style where they're trying to find clues. It's more of like a historical fiction vibe. If you're a big fan of like royalty or the Regency era, I think you would love these. They are really short reads that are very well written and so much fun to read. The vibes are immaculate, and the pictures that they paint in my head are perfect, and I just love reading these. They all connect, and as you're reading them, all the pieces come together. It's such an amazing experience, and I definitely recommend checking these out. Next we have A Wrinkle in Time. For some, this might be a required reading for school like it was for me, but for others it might not be, so I did want to recommend this. I went into it thinking it was going to be a hard to understand classic to read for school, and even just 2 chapters in, I was immediately hooked and finished it outside of my school day and my school schedule. It just became like a normal book for me, and it was so much fun. It was written so well with amazing character development and an amazing structure, but it felt like you were just reading a modern day book that was so much fun and completely clean with great morals as well. I loved all the messages in this book. They were so amazing and refreshing to read about, and I just thought it was an amazing read. It has a big dystopian element in it that reminds me a little bit of the Mysterious Benedict Society if you've read that. Also, it has some sci-fi, but it's just so much fun. Again, if you like traveling to other worlds or time periods, it's so much fun, and I definitely recommend checking this out. Also, if you're an atmospheric reader like me that likes to match books to the season, this would be a great fall read because it has a big stormy scene in it where it's raining outside, and it's just so fun. Just like Secrets of the Manor, this book paints great mental pictures and makes it feel like you're watching a movie, so I definitely recommend checking this one out. Next we have The Music of Dolphins. If you are a fan of my channel and have watched some of my content, you know that I kind of talk about this one a lot, but it is still an underrated book. This book is really cool. It's very short and it is written very uniquely. It starts out with really big print and then it gets small because you are following this girl who basically has been raised by dolphins, and then she is taken back into normal society, into a city, and has to kind of learn what it means to be human. I thought it was a really cool read that really got you thinking but kept you engaged like a fiction story would, because it is fiction, but it does have a lot of real elements. It deals with what it's like to be a human, and it's kind of like seeing what it's like to be a human from somebody who isn't because she was raised by dolphins. So I thought it was just a very unique read. I've read this many times and it's still very engaging. Also a extremely quick read because it starts off with such big font and short sentences. It's very easy to understand and also kind of feel like you're in her head the way that it's written. I thought it was a really cool book, and I definitely recommend checking it out, especially if you're a fan of dolphins as well. Next we have Listening for Lions. I actually did read this one kind of for school. I do a curriculum where you read lots and lots of books instead of a textbook. So this was a fun fiction read, but it dealt with life in Africa and a lot of other cool travels as well. This is a really cool read. If you're a fan of historical fiction, I definitely recommend checking this one out. It was on the shorter side. If you're looking to get into the historical fiction side of middle grade but don't know where to start, I would definitely recommend this one. Next we have Green Glass House. I read this one last Christmas season and it was a perfect read for that. This is a really fun book. It's basically where all these people start coming to this hotel at the same time, where this hotel usually has no people during the Christmas season, and each one is suspicious of somebody else for a different reason, and it's a really cool mystery story. It's got great winter vibes, Christmas vibes, all of that. It is so much fun. It is on the longer side, but I did not even realize that when I was reading it because I just like flew through it. My only warning for this is that it does have ghosts, but it's not like a demonic spooky ghost. It's more like a friendly ghost sort of situation, so take it or leave it in that sense, but I definitely would recommend this one. It was super fun. It's actually winner of the Edgar Award for Best Juvenile Mystery. It was very well written, I will say that. It was a very refreshing read coming from reading all the book talk books where the literature itself is very badly written, if I can say that. This was written like a really good story instead of just being like words on a page or how people actually talk in real life. But it was so much fun. I liked our characters, and I definitely recommend checking this one out. It is part of a series, but I haven't read the rest of the ones in the series because they follow different characters, I'm pretty sure. But then I think the fourth one in the series follows these characters in this location again. It kind of confuses me, but I will be checking that one out for this upcoming Christmas season. Next we have Book Scavenger. This was a very, very unique, exciting read that I loved. My brother, who's not a big reader, really liked this too. It's just so much fun to read. Basically, this girl and her family have this goal to live in every one of the 50 states, so they move a lot. But the one thing that has stayed with her through every state is this game called Book Scavenger, where you make up clues to where you've hidden a book, and people have to solve the clues and go find it, and you can do the same thing. It's like this huge community that takes place in this giant game in the book. Also, you're following the creator of the game in a very suspenseful mystery following him as well. This is such a fun read. It takes place in San Francisco, California, which is really cool to read about. The whole like atmosphere and vibe of that place makes the perfect setting for the story. It is just such a cool read. I definitely recommend checking this out if you want something more unique but you like the overall mystery genre of reading. So yeah, this is part of a series. I have the second one. I need to read it, but this one I know is just so much fun and you should definitely go and check it out. Next we have The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane. This is such a cool cover, but it does make it look very spooky, which it isn't. I read this last fall and it did give great fall vibes, but there's nothing magical or spiritual in it. It just kind of looks that way from the cover. What I called this book in one sentence was Harry Potter without the magic, because you're following this girl who goes to live in a boarding school in England. She joins the soccer team and the whole thing just reminds me of Hogwarts and Quidditch, but in the real world. I thought it was super fun, a great mystery. I flew through this because it's double spaced, which is a little bit unique, but I'm definitely going to be reading the second book in the series this fall. It was a great fall read, super fast, and I thought it was really fun. It's not the most original story, so I don't know if I gave it the highest rating, but for what it was really fun, and I really enjoyed reading it, and thought that for the idea that the author had, it was well executed. It just wasn't the most original, mind-blowing plot. But if you do want something that fits that vibe, please go check it out. Clean middle grade, but I read it again as a teenager and still enjoyed it a lot. Okay, so now I'm going to quickly share about 3 middle grade recommendations for younger middle grade readers, some readers who are just getting into the genre of middle grade, getting into chapter books. I'm just going to share a few of my favorite real quick that aren't as popular. First, we have Rescue Princesses. This was the series that actually got me into reading when I was around 6 or 7. This series was so much fun. It's really, really cool, and each book follows a different princess, and all the made-up places that this takes place are actually based off of real countries, which I thought was really cool. Each book has a very different vibe, but it does follow a group of princesses rescuing different animals. Sometimes it has a bit of a mystery to it, but kind of like Secrets of the Manor, they're very atmospheric, and I just have such fond memories of reading this series and running to the library to get the next one whenever I finished one. I did recently learn that they continue the series, and there's a few more that have come out, and even though I'm way too old for them, I will be reading them because I want to reconnect with the series that really got me into reading in the first place. So I would definitely recommend this one. This is an all-time favorite series for me. Next we have The Secret Rescuers. Very, very similar, although these are a little bit longer, I think, and they felt a little bit older when I read them, but I would still recommend them for young readers. They were super fun. These ones followed rescuing more well-known mythical creatures like dragons and unicorns. They were still super fun, and I thought these ones were really well written as well. Lastly, we have Cupcake Cousins, kind of moving away from the fantasy, like mythical side. These ones were really fun. I don't remember that much about them, but I do remember really, really liking them, and they were so much fun, and I flew through them, and they were just a really great young middle grade series that follow 2 cousins, and I think one of them takes place in the summer, gives great summer vibes, and then one takes place in the winter, great winter vibes, and I think there's a third one, but I don't know if I've read it or not. So that's all for that series, and that was the last book that I'll be talking about in this video. I really hope you're able to find lots of new reads to add to your TBR. Remember, my Goodreads Fable will be linked down below if you want to go see my content reviews for these books as well. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe to see lots more clean book recommendations, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!
I was scared to say hey.
How was your day?
Good. You didn't pass out, did you?
That cheer?
No, you didn't take a breath that whole time. How do you do that?
I stopped a few times.
Oh, really good.
Thank you. I need to make sure it's a good angle still because I usually film with it flipped so I